Hey, Algebra 1B students, it's Miss Carol, and we are now on Unit 6, Lesson 28. And in the last couple of lessons, we've addressed absolute value functions and piecewise functions, and now we are going to talk about step functions. So, a day camp at the community center requires a different number of counselors, depending on the size of the group. A small group of up to 10 children requires 2 counselors. A medium-sized group of between 11 and 17 children requires 4 counselors, and a large group of 18 to 25 children requires 6 counselors. So we're going to use our knowledge of step functions to answer the following 5 questions. Question 1. What is the function value for the subdomain 1 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 10. Well, let's figure this out, but let's go ahead and just kind of graph what each of these is going to look like. So these, remember, are step functions. And so, get my pen going here. All right, where our x value is the number of children, and our y value is the number of counselors. Okay, and so when we have 0 to 10 children, or essentially 1 to 10, let's say that 10 is here, okay, we have to have 2 counselors. All right, so we'll put 1 here. So this looks like this. Okay, so that's up to 10, up to and including 10. Okay, 11 to 17 children requires 4 counselors. So 11 is here. And we're going to 17, which is here, okay? And then last but not least, 18 to 25 is 6 counselors. All right, so that's going to be all right, so this is 7. Let's see, 18 to 25 is 7. 11 to 16, or 11 to 17. Actually, this is 18 to 25 is going to actually include 18, so that is going to be 8. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So that's 8. This is going to be 7, and this is going to be 10. Okay. So again, and all I'm doing here is identifying the length of each subdomain. These 8, 7, and 10 don't mean a whole lot, but what really means a lot is the number of counselors for each subdomain. So for the subdomain 1 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 10, my y value or function is going to be 2. All right, so my number of counselors, my f of x, is 2. Okay. For 11 to 17, my y value is 4, and for 18 to 25, it's going to be 6, but they are going to ask this question a little bit different. What are the end points of when it's 6? So the coordinates for this endpoint are 18, right? Because 17 went with 4 counselors, so 18 when x is 18, and 6 because my y value is 6, and 25 and 6. Okay, those are the endpoints of this subdomain. Okay, when I have 18 students, I have 6 counselors. When I have 25 students, I have 6 counselors. All right, so let's just make sure that those are in here. 18 and 6 is one of them, and 25 and 6 is one of them. Notice it's not 17 because if there's 17 students, we have 4 counselors. If there's 18 students, we have 6 counselors. Okay, so which subdomain produces the longest step? And that's why I put these 10, 8, and 7 here. So the longest step is 10, right? This is the, before I move to add additional counselors, I'm going to have 10 students more. Before I move to add additional counselors from 4, I only have to add 7 more, okay? And the last one is 8 more, and then it looks like I kind of end. They're not going to do any more students than that. So that longest step is the 1 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 10. Okay, and the last question, I'm gonna leave this up because I think it offers a good visual. Explain why there are no open circles in the graph of this step function. Give a mathematical and contextual description. So we can't have half a kid. So if we went up to but not including 10 students, that would be like 9.8 students or 10.1 students on the other side. Like that just doesn't make sense. So we have to have integer values for our number of children. And then if you notice, if you go up here, the small group was up to 10, so that includes 10. The medium-sized group includes 11 to 17, and then the large group includes 18 to 25. So those are all inclusive. They're the closed-in circles, as opposed to the up to but not including, which would be the open circle. So the way I would type this is there cannot be a group with a non-integer number of children. Okay, so that's the first one. We can't have half a kid. The second thing I would say is that each subdomain has inclusive inequality symbols. Okay, so that's the less than or equal to, and that's why we would color those in. Okay, that is all I have for lesson 28. I will see you back here for our very final unit, or project questions for lesson 29 soon. Thank you for joining me.